My name's Dino. I'm the founder of Treiber. Treiber is the only social network for content creators, and our mandate is to solve big problems for little bloggers. And the chief problem among them is, how do you get more eyeballs on your content? To look at kind of a historical arc, in the early 2000s, few platforms, Tumblr, WordPress, Blogger.com came out that I think were as monumental to the development of humans as species as Gutenberg's printing press was 500 years earlier. So if you look at that timeline, prior to the invention of the printing press, knowledge, reading, was available only to the privileged. It was available only to the rich and to the clergy. And then Gutenberg invents this machine that replicates books very fast. And over the course of the next few hundred years, books, in other words, knowledge, reading, becomes available to the middle class and to the poor. And that leads us directly into the Industrial Revolution and into the technological revolution that we're in right now. And it took 500 years for platforms like Tumblr, like WordPress, to identify the next problem, which is, during these 500 years, you could read content, but if you wanted to be a publisher, you had to be part of the privileged class. You couldn't publish your own magazine or have your own TV station or, radio station or whatever. But in the early 2000s, these platforms came out and they changed the game. And over the last 10 years or so, a new problem has appeared. And that new problem is, yeah, sure, now we can all publish content, but the problem is we can't compete with the privileged. And the privileged are companies that have a budget that can advertise, big content warehouses like Huffington Post and Mashable, or any other content warehouse that's really big in your niche. Big media companies, little bloggers, which is 99% of us, small content creators cannot effectively compete for attention in this space that we're in right now. And Treiber addresses that problem. Treiber gives you the tools, the methodologies that don't exist anywhere else that allows you to effectively compete with these big media properties. So if you look at Twitter or G+, the trust model is unidirectional. I can follow you, but you don't have to follow me, right? On Facebook, the trust model is bidirectional. I friend you, you have to friend me back. LinkedIn is the same way, that bidirectional trust model. Treiber blows that whole concept out of the water because it's much deeper than Facebook or LinkedIn. It's much deeper than bidirectional trust model. I not only have to trust you and you have to trust me, but I have to trust you with my audience and you have to trust me with your audience. And that's sort of a pass-through trust model. It's a much deeper model than the other social networks. I don't have to promote myself via social media. That's like borderline rude, right? And it's self-serving and it's kind of frowned upon. So instead I can focus on promoting my buddies. I can focus on promoting great content from other bloggers that I really love reading. And in turn, I don't have to worry about promoting my content because they're doing it for me. So proof of concept worked immediately. I mean, the response was tremendous and it just kind of grew from there. We've spent zero money on marketing or zero money on trying to get people on board or anything like that because we don't really work with a budget to speak of. It's only 3 guys working on the platform. The platform has a self-replicating component built into itself. Because on Treiber you build tribes of like-minded people. And the way you build those tribes typically is you write a blog post about it and you get your existing community to join Treiber and then you guys come together and share each other's content across the audiences and stuff like that. The best we can tell, and this is based on some Technorati data that I read probably over a year ago, there's like a little over 2 million bloggers. There's about 2 billion people online right now. That number is expected to double over the next couple of few years. So we can expect number of bloggers to double over the next couple of few years. So let's say there's rounded up, 5 million bloggers within next 3 to 5 years. The market penetration that we would need to have would have to be very significant for the scaling to become a problem. But it would be a great problem to have.